Welcome to Jacktalk. I'm your host, Tegan Mingo, and today we have an episode jam-packed with Nacogdoches awesomeness. Today's show will feature SFA's annual Kiwi Fruit Field Day, the controversy surrounding vaping, as well as SFA's blood drive. You don't want to miss out, so stay tuned. Many Nacogdoches locals are aware of the fact that Nac is in fact the oldest town in Texas, but what they may not know is that it is also the first place in Texas to produce kiwis. How cool is that? To acknowledge the success SFA Gardens has had with the fruit, they host a Kiwi Fruit Field Day each year that allows participants to become knowledgeable on the growth process, taste tests, and even go on a detailed tour of the kiwi fields. We decided to check it out for ourselves. Take a look at what we discovered.
Nacogdoches is home to a variety of plants, but it's the only place in Texas that is home to the kiwi fruit. At the Piney Woods Native Plant Center, the Department of Agriculture at SFA works to adapt kiwis to East Texas weather. The kiwi growth journey began when the SFA Gardens received vines from their long-term friend,
Well, we received our first vines in about 2011, and we started growing them, and we had a first crop in 2014, which everybody thought was a fluke because nobody has ever fruited gold or green kiwis in Texas. We're studying the production of these varieties. It's a complicated crop. It basically has a male plant and a female plant, and you have to have the pollen from the male go by a bee to the female, and it's timing, and so it has to be not just any variety of male, it has to be a variety that is timed to deliver pollen, to have pollen available for the female. So that's really a big problem. We're looking at post-harvest, so we look at how much sugar is, how hard the fruit is, and we look at that through a refractometer and a penetrometer. And then we store them. And the beauty of kiwis is that you can store them 4 to 6 months. And so you pick them hard when they reach a sugar content of Brix 8, and you can put them in a cooler at 34, 35, and you can hold them for 4 to 6 months. Peaches, you can't do that. A lot of fruit, blueberries, you better sell them. So kiwis offer an opportunity to have a continuous supply going into the marketplace. So the Sun Gold kiwi that you see in town here at the grocery store is the last of the storage from New Zealand. And so they've been in cold storage for 4, 5, or 6 months, and then they bring them out, ripen them, and when you buy them, they're great. Golden kiwi in particular is one of the fastest moving categories in the marketplace, and it's a super fruit. If you eat 2 or 3 a day, you never die or something like that. It's really a great fruit. It's full of antioxidants, a lot of vitamins, and it's just considered to be one of the healthy superfruits.
Those kiwis look so tempting to pick. How amazing it is that NAC has bragging rights over kiwi production. I myself find kiwis to be tasty. And since Dr. Kretsch over at SFA Gardens mentioned the tiny fruits to be beneficial, we've got some easy and yummy kiwi recipes that viewers at home are able to make. As you can see, we have a whole spread going on. So we're gonna start with a smoothie. If you are smoothie fans like me, they're actually really good to detox and a good replacement in the morning. So you're gonna want some ice. We have a few slices of kiwi in here, some strawberries. I'm gonna start small, y'all. We don't wanna go too crazy now. But as you can see, I'm putting a lot in here. I have a lot of ice to kind of make it a little bit smoother, a little crunchier, not too bad. And then I'm gonna put in some water for y'all. And I don't know if y'all know this, but kiwi is actually packed with vitamin C, a lot of other nutrients as well, and it's helping prevent heart disease as well. So we're gonna put a good amount of water. We're gonna see how that goes for us. All right, we're having some technical difficulties, but that's okay. What you would do is the process of making it, jamming it up. We'll come back to that later, see how our smoothie is going to do and test out a little bit more. We also have salsa for you. So if you kind of like a little fruity kick with some spice, this is your perfect alternative. We have a few more kiwis here. Of course, you want to be able to cut off the sides as well in that process. And I don't know how y'all make y'all salsa, but I love jalapenos in mine. I feel like it gives like a nice little tang with it being spicy and sweet, of course. But if you don't like spice, that is okay. No one is against it at all, completely. We're gonna just add a couple of kiwis in there for you as well. Not too many, just to kind of show you a little quick way to do it. I have some tomatoes already made for everyone. There we go. I'm gonna put all those in there. Oops. Yellow bell peppers. I'm gonna use them chunky right now. Just a few. And oh my God, it smells great. A few onions. I don't know if you're crazy with onions like me, but I feel like they add a good amount of flavor. The wrong scooper. We got some lime to finish that off a little bit for you. We'll do that in a minute. And some cilantro. You would basically stir this up a little bit. I would mash mine a little bit more, but it's okay. I'm just showing you a little guidance. Once you kind of get it the consistency that you want, go ahead and go a little crazy with it. It's a nice little fun packed little snack to eat, especially for party days. Now, if you like a guilty pleasure, but you don't want to feel too guilty, I go for popsicles at the end of the day. And what you would use for your popsicles are actually strawberries over here, kiwis as well. You can have them as chunky as you want. I mixed the knife a little bit, so we're not going to go a little too crazy with that. Some kiwis. Don't forget this. You want to be able to make your popsicles, or you can use sticks at home, depending how you like your shape of your popsicles. I'm going to use them a little bit more flatter and chunkier, of course. A few of those. I'm going to take a few of my strawberries, and we got some popsicles for you that you already like pre-made, all right? This will be your finished product, but don't forget to add water. Delicious, right? All right. Well, that concludes our Kiwi segment of the show, but we're just getting started. Coming up, we've got quite the discussion on the massive vaping epidemic. We'll be back after this break. The blood drive was active last Friday at the Richard and Lucille Dwight School of Nursing. We take you on an adventure to learn more about donating and what it's like to donate blood.
The East Texas Blood Drive took place at the Richard and Lucille Dewitt School of Nursing, where students were able to participate in donating blood. I had the chance to talk with Connie Weaver to discuss her mission.
I actually go around and set up all the blood drives on campus in each of the dorms or the halls, and we go with some of the organizations throughout the semesters, and even during the summertime they help. So
She told me about the number of blood drives they usually have in a month.
we probably have about 40 to 45 blood drives a month.
She also has affiliates that helps her with their journey to find patients to donate more blood.
As many units as possible for the patients and stuff in all of East Texas, as well as Gulf Coast Regional Blood Center. We're affiliates with them, and so we're taking lots of lives.
Connie emphasized why students have such a big impact on donating blood.
It makes me feel amazing because they usually, for a student to walk over and want to donate blood, they want to. That means they did it in high school, or their parents or guardians influenced them the importance of donating blood. And having the blood there when you need it is really important. So I think it's a good thing that they start while they're young and continue it throughout their lifetime.
You do receive a small gift for donating blood, but the best gift of all is helping someone who's in need for blood.
Well, the blood drive today, here at the nursing building, you get a cute free t-shirt or a pair of hero socks. So you can show off and tell everyone when you see a blood drive on campus, donate blood. You're saving lives, and the patients appreciate it right here in our community.
Our very own Brian Torres was able to give us a peek of what it's like to donate blood, his blood type, and the type of questions that will most likely ask you.
It's pretty good. It's just, O negative, I want to say. That's the universal blood type. So that's why I donate often, and then it's really not scary. You got to go through, they're probably going to make me do a little check sheet, make sure that I don't do drugs, and then I'm not, having STDs and anything like that that can be transferred through blood. So that's normally how it goes. They also ask you when's the last time you traveled, because you might be going off to foreign lands with some exotic mosquitoes or stuff like that.
You will most likely receive a spreadsheet that will help you prepare for any risk or any tips and advice before you donate blood.
Start off the experience, they gave me this little fun sheet that tells me these are some of the risks that you're going to have whenever you're donating blood and stuff like that.
Due to Brian having a universal blood type, he is sometimes asked to donate twice.
One time they asked me to double donate because, I'm universal blood. And yeah, I felt really woozy afterwards.
Here are some of the highlights of Brian's brave adventure.
Will do. No, you're fine. When I donated blood, I realized that blood is warm whenever it comes out of your body. Yeah, because your body's 98 degrees something internally. So whenever the blood comes out, it comes out super warm.
Well, you're almost done. How was it?
It's pretty good. This feels a little tingly, but that's fine. Whenever you get that weird feeling in your legs, like you've been sitting for a while. Just like that. much, but I'm also laying down. Probably whenever I stand up, the light happiness will come. It's great. They're not vampires. They're very nice people, and they're cool banded.
Donating blood can seem scary and difficult, but sometimes you have to conquer your fears to help those in need. For East Texas Explorer, I'm Julian Gonzalez. The East.
In case you didn't donate blood, there will be another opportunity to do so coming up in early October. For any more information, visit giveblood.org. Exceedingly popular, yet there has been quite the controversy surrounding the electronic cigarettes' harmful cases. While some feel as though vaping is a healthier alternative, others believe it has significant health issues. Let's take a look at what's happening in NAC's local smoke shops.
This week, I went into the community in hopes of finding more education about vaping. My first stop was at Big Vape Vapor Trails, where owner Bob Holloway shared his story about quitting cigarettes and changing to vape.
Well, 46 years of smoking, of course, I never knew what it was like to be without. I started when I was 13. Tried to quit several times by, just stopping. Couldn't do it. Tried the gum, I've tried the pills. Tried the pills, and my wife, being a nurse, she said, "You stop those." She said I was acting kind of crazy. It's the only thing that's ever worked for me.
Holloway focuses the majority of his business on older adults who are quitting smoking cigarettes. He tries to convince kids that have not started smoking to avoid vaping. He even went into some detail why he thinks kids want to start.
Especially for kids, it's eye candy, with the visual, all the vape. They think it's smoke, but it's vapor. And you eliminate that, they'll go to the smoking.
Holloway also mentioned some of the new alternatives that he prefers for stress relief, such as CBD.
Yeah, CBD has just been a lifesaver for me. I found a lab out of Fort Lauderdale that does a triple extraction, which eliminates all THC, which is a concern of mine. And they extract it with coconut oil, which is medicinal as well, and it really enhances the CBD.
To conclude our interview, I asked Holloway what he thought about banning vapes.
Foolish, I think. And I think if they do more research, they'll find how foolish that is.
I continued my search around Nacogdoches to find vape stores. I made my way to Purple Haze Vapes, where I talked to Ben Hiding, who described the difference from smoking cigarettes to vaping.
The two aren't even pretty much comparable. When I used to smoke, I would go to sleep wheezing, wake up coughing, hacking up a lung. Used to cough up black tar constantly. My lungs cleared up, I had more energy, and I felt like I did prior to smoking.
For more information about health concerns related to vaping, be sure to check out fda.org. And with Jacktalk, my name is Blake Harrison.
To discuss the issues on vaping today, we have Dr. Keisha Becknell and Puff and Stuff owner Grant Menzies to give us their input. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
How are y'all doing today?
We're good.
All right, ready to talk about some vaping?
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Okay, cool. For someone who is unfamiliar with vaping, what is some key information they should know?
Well, vaping is basically just an alternative way to distribute nicotine, and it's through water vape and with nicotine added to it and flavor. So, it's very new. We don't know a lot about it as far as the long-term effects. It definitely seems like it's a lot healthier choice than smoking, but that's basically it, yeah.
Any facts you got to throw in there?
I agree. We know it became mainstream because it was a healthier way to get your nicotine consumption versus smoking. What we don't know is there's not enough long-term studies to see what truly are the health effects of vaping, and we're starting to see lots of these reports of young people hospitalized, what we think are vaping-related respiratory illnesses. So there's still a lot of information out there that we're just not sure about, so we really don't know what the harmful effects are.
And with these recent cases, a lot of them they're finding out are these THC pre-filled pens. And you know, a lot of studies, basically the one thing that they all have in common, these THC pens, is it has vitamin E oil in there. Sure. They don't know if that's what's causing this. They just know that's a common factor, that all of these pens, they have the vitamin E oil. Of course, it's an oil, and so once it, you know, gets up to 363 degrees, it turns into a gas, but then once it cools down again, it's back into an oil.
Okay.
So
you mentioned THC. So can you explain a little bit more what THC is versus CBD?
Yeah, basically, with your cannabis plant, you got two major components. One is THC and one is CBD. THC is the psychoactive effect that actually gets you high, and CBD is basically been used for medicinal purposes, a lot of anti-inflammation, anti-anxiety. We don't know exactly what it does because we got cannabinoid receptors all through our body. And, you know, feeding it with CBDs definitely seems to have an effect. So that's basically the difference between the CBD and THC.
Okay, cool. So I didn't know that myself because I'm not a vapor, but
Okay.
it's like some information I do need to know if I took it up. As well as, you said something about incidents and illnesses going on. So what are the most recent ones that we're kind of going off with and possibly being related with vaping?
What we're seeing is respiratory illnesses that are happening, and first off, they look like a pneumonia. So they may be treated as a pneumonia, they're given antibiotics, and they're not responding to the antibiotics, and they're getting worse. And so what we're thinking, going back to the oils that they're using to vape these contents, is they're thinking it's a lipoid pneumonia, and so antibiotics aren't going to treat that. What's happening is inflammation in the lungs. So basically the oil is damaging the lungs, and the lungs are becoming inflamed, and that's when we see the problems of people in the hospital who are now not able to really breathe on their own. They get put on a ventilator, and there have been cases of death because of this.
Wow, that's crazy, especially because it's new on the field. So
Yeah.
like, no one would even thought this far for something that we think is healthier and a better alternative. But
Yeah.
thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting us know a little bit more about vaping as we continue to learn more about it as well. And well, that completes our segments for today. As you can see, there are two sides to every story with pros and cons. We hope you enjoyed the show. This has been Jack Talk. I'm Tegan Mingo.